This video is sponsored by Nomad Internet. More on them later.
Okay, you know those harebrained science project ideas that start as fun and games and then all of a sudden you're bushwhacking 16 miles across 3,000-foot mountain ridges overnight to retrieve a weather balloon that was a terrible idea from the start?
This is bad.
Well, apparently now I do. Okay, where do I begin with this? Okay, basically, my dear friend Andrew Adams had the goal of launching a giant 2-stage rocket into a solar eclipse and capturing 360 camera footage of it. And this year's annular eclipse happened to cross the Black Rock Desert, a legendary launch site, and it was just too good of an alignment to pass up. He's got his own YouTube channel documenting the long process of working up to this rocket, by the way, so I will link that down below. So at some point, probably about a year ago, we cooked up this harebrained plan for me to launch a weather balloon for him an hour ahead of the launch window in order to both capture wind data for his launch information, fly a backup 360 camera into the eclipse in case something happened to the rocket, and then most excitingly, see if I could film the rocket from a high altitude balloon, like at altitude, because that would be so unbelievably cool. Some ideas should die on late night FaceTime calls, and I think that this was one of them. Here's the crux of it. The whole point of this trip was to be launch support for Mr. Andrew Adams, and launching my own stuff an hour before his launch is not exactly conducive to that, and the problem is once I commit to my agency that I'm making a video, there is like absolutely not a thing I can do to back out. Like I must launch this balloon and get a video out of it, no matter what. It's just how my job works. But again, my priority was Andrew's launch, and I was being extra careful not to take resources away from that prep. So with all of that in mind, let's head out to Black Rock Desert. This was my first time on the playa, and driving onto one of the flattest pieces of land in North America is magical. Since I've done a weather balloon before on this channel, and honestly this payload wasn't that much different, here is a 15-second build montage of assembling the weather balloon kit from High Altitude Science. And if you're thinking of doing your own balloon, for real, their kits are awesome, and in my opinion, there is no point in reinventing the wheel on this. And this time I flew an adorable raccoon instead of a crown, because I think my life is now just seeing how high I can get one of these little trash panda friends. And I also flew a ring for my friend Simone so she can get some killer marketing shots for the Yetch store, and a 3D printed slug for my friend Sierra since we met through the first Crown in Space video. So it's all very silly, but I felt like I needed to get some meme-worthy shots up there since I had so many cameras flying, even if the primary objective was the Eclipse rocket. I'm super nervous. Even though this isn't hard and I know what I'm doing, it's like, oh, now we're actually in the desert and I actually have to send a lot of hundreds of dollars worth of stuff to 100,000 feet. You know, it's just a little tingly feeling. Oh. Oh.
All right, that's first contact.
Oh, really?
With the eclipse. Yep.
All right. As tight as you can. It's like as tight as it can possibly go. Whew. Only thing, we now have to turn on all of the cameras and plug them in.
All right, so everyone, subscribe to Xyla's Patreon so she can afford a GoPro from the past decade.
You don't like my Hero 4? All right. It's going. All right. Ready? All right. Is everyone ready? Ready. Eclipse balloon launch in 3, 2, 1. Happy sailing! Now here's the thing with weather balloons. They're like 20% crazy cool science and 80% insane adventure, because you have no control over where that thing lands. Like you can plan and you can guess and you can model for sure, but in the end, it will probably find the hardest place to get to and just plop itself there, just out of spite from the fact that you released it unprotected into the jet stream with no instructions or power of its own. So now it's time to actually find this thing. Looks like it is actually right off of a road or a path or something. 7,350 feet. It's on a mountain. Both weather balloons have landed. It's so nice just knowing that. The good news is we know where they are, thanks to Nomad Internet. The bad news is that they're in really hard to reach places.
Wait, did you say Nomad Internet?
I said Nomad Internet! You should try it! But a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Nomad Air. And as a side note from the future, I did not realize when I signed Nomad that their product would save my butt a billion times throughout this video, as like this find the balloon adventure spiraled into an episode of Survivor. Nomad Air is a travel-sized, portable, wireless Wi-Fi modem designed for use in your home, RV, teardrop trailer, or Black Rock Desert launch site. Welcome to our base camp here in Black Rock Desert, Nevada. I'm here with all of my friends, and I'm about to be everyone's favorite friend because we're gonna set up the Nomad Air travel and give all of these people internet. The Nomad Air is only 4 inches long, so it's small enough to pack in almost any carrying bag like this provided one, and the battery pack lasts well over a week without needing to be charged. And setup on site is super easy. All you have to do is plug it in and you're connected. The Nomad modem connects to 4G, 5G, and C-band network. Plus, I get unlimited, unthrottled service for $49 a month through Friends of Nomad. C-band is a range of frequencies providing a more reliable 5G service specifically for rural areas. 42 download, 39 upload. Wow, I'm gonna move here. I could be a YouTuber from the middle of Black Rock now. Check out the link in my description and use promo code Xyla to get 10% off of your total order. That's promo code Xyla. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, I forgot to tell you, since I brought a spare balloon and helium tank to the desert just in case something happened to my first one, we jerry-rigged a super quick second balloon payload like night before that consisted of just a spot GPS tracker and an Insta360 camera with the sole purpose of capturing footage of the rocket because air-to-air photography is the coolest. We launched this one 5 to 10 minutes before launch, a few miles upwind of the launch pad. Balloon launch in 3, 2, 1. Blue skies! But first, the reason we came to the desert in the first place, Mr. Andrew Adams' rocket.
Slow, slow, slow at this point.
My guy, and Bill Wilkes massive rocket.
Let's go!
Okay. 3, 2, 1, launch! There it goes!
Before rocket recovery though, you can't gather a bunch of aerospace nerds in the desert for an eclipse and not take a peek. Or a lot of peeks. Some of the peeks were even through a 14-inch telescope. But once the rocket was launched and the eclipse was over, we helped with a bit of rocket recovery at base camp, and then George, Karis, and I headed out on our own recovery mission. It was a nearly 3-hour drive out to the rough location of the mountains where the GPS ping was, and then the roads we had mapped out just stopped. And with the sun starting to set, I had to make one of the hardest go-no-go calls I have ever made. All right, so we are chasing daylight. We're 1.7 miles from the balloon, but there are a lot of these mountains, but it's not worth like falling into a ditch over, so we're gonna turn around. The next day after packing up camp, George and I headed out with the intention of just hiking 4 miles from the main road all the way in, now that we knew the roads didn't actually exist. But on the way out, I got a really weird hunch and I rechecked the GPS spot, and it was 30 miles further. I guess the GPS pings just hadn't updated fully the day before. So with an extra hour and a half of driving around another mountain range, we were yet again chasing daylight. We stopped at a supply store to pick up extra headlamps and batteries, calories, and some warm hats and gloves, and then we hit the trail.
And here we are,
Complaining?
complaining because it might get a little dark at the end, and we wanted to do something shorter yesterday. This is incredible.
Do you know what time is it? It's like 10.
I have no idea.
Okay, well, we'll look at the timestamp on this video and I'll put it right here. We just dropped into the valley. After like a very steep scramble, I would leave it, yeah. After a steep scramble, we have 0.83 miles. It's really rough and bushwhacky, but it's hopefully pretty flat. And hopefully we can find this thing. There's so much brush, holy shit.
Yeah, this is
bad. There's like a little hunting road or something down here. We are 0.6 miles from the coordinates, and it, like we only get to be on this road for maybe 0.1 miles, but it feels really good.
Once we crested the ridgeline, we actually got some cell service, and I decided to call our friend Katie to come be our safety driver, since immediately following this hike, George had to get all the way back to Reno for his flight home, and both of us had so much adrenaline in our bodies, I did not trust either of us driving during the adrenaline crash after.
Okay, I don't think I've ever had a sponsorship like save me the way that this Nomad Air one has. Like, this is not part of the ad, but Katie made it to our car. She found our car. There's no signal there. We're still up on a ridge, so we have flashes of signal, and she's sending, like, she's able to contact us because she got onto the Nomad Air through the car windows. Anyway, killer sponsorship. What a good fit for this. I did not realize how good of a fit it was. What is that? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! 11:02. My kid is too attached. That was probably like the worst hike I've ever done.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was awful.
That was so hard. And we're like up against this time crunch. And the whole time I was like, what if we get there and it's just the spot that like fell off, or they're like, it's not intact. And here it is.
Everything's here.
Every single thing. We did it.
Go team.
Go team!
As the crow flies, it was less than 5 miles from the car to the balloon, but it took us over 6.5 hours. But for the return trip to the car, I wanted to see if that abandoned mining road we passed could get us anywhere. So I rechecked all of the satellite maps I had downloaded, and indeed, if we took it nearly 3 miles in the wrong direction, it would meet up with another abandoned road that took us most of the way back to the car.
We've hit a point where the road turns into a stream. We talked about it and we decided walking through the water is still the safest and fastest option to get out. So we're committing to the wet feet for the next probably 3 miles. Hopefully only 3 miles, it might be 4 miles.
Oh no, it's not great. Nope, that's terrible. That's so cold.
So we did that, and so the last 7.5 miles only took us 2.5 hours.
I love you. I'm always happy to see you, but I have never in my life. It's 3:20 in the morning, and I'm so high on adrenaline from that hike that I'm downloading the footage. I really want to see it. I want to see it. I want to send it to my friends who are really mad at me because they're really worried about me and George. But yeah, I want to see why we did that.